made it clear, the central banks and the government, that they want everybody to take a shot to the face. They want demand to go down. And I think that's already happening quite fast.
Demand for what?
Stuff. So if they put up your mortgage rates, you spend less in restaurants. If you're finding your food bills at the supermarket 30% higher than they were, you spend less on something else. The price of goods moves either because there's not enough supply, which is what we've had a problem with, or it's because there's too much or not enough demand. So if you've got something with restricted supply, so let's think of oil right now. Because of the Russian situation, there is not enough oil for the current demand out there. So the oil price keeps going up. So you and I pay more to drive our cars or to heat or cool our houses. The only way of solving that one, because you can't get the Russian oil back into the market, is to make us use less oil. The price does that automatically because it gets more expensive we do it. But if you can also then just lower general demand for things, we'll drive our cars less, we'll catch less flights, all of that stuff, and that lowers demand and therefore prices. Because prices rising, inflation, is evil for our savings because the dollar in your bank account is worth less in a year's time. It's currently worth 8% less, which is quite a lot. It's this weird situation where we have to take the pain. We're told we can't buy as much and we're forced into it by rising our mortgage costs and our food costs and all of this stuff. And eventually things will slow down, people will be put out of jobs a bit, and then the overall demand in the economy comes down and prices come down. We're all collectively taking the pain for this inflation that was created out of a whole bunch of different things, from the pandemic through to supply chain issues, through to underinvestment in commodities, through to the shift to green energy. All of these things have created this moment in time, which is tricky. So the Fed can engineer it by trying to raise interest rates, and it filters through to our mortgages and other stuff. Or the market kind of clears of its own accord, where prices get too much, people stop buying stuff, prices fall back again. So either way tends to work, and we're in this weird mess where the Federal Reserve are doing it, the markets are doing it, and we're having to take all the pain in the meantime. I generally think that the market is better at doing it. If you actually see it, from my perspective, somebody who closely follows interest rate markets and stuff like that, they did all of the tightening anyway, well before the Fed. People you hear the expression, the Fed are behind the curve. What it means is the bond market's already priced it. Interest rates need to go up to slow down the economy because there's too much inflation, and the Federal Reserve are trying to catch up. I actually think the markets do a pretty decent job. Prices rise, eventually it gets too expensive, we stop doing it. Now, there's different equations that people fear is when it becomes super entrenched in the economy, and we all go to our bosses and go, I want a pay rise, and everybody does that at the same time. That pushes up prices further, you get more wage rises, and that's a wage price spiral. That really has only happened in the US really once, which was in the late 70s, early 80s, when all of the baby boomers hit kind of 30 years old at the same time. So if you think when you go back to 30, you're kind of settling down with somebody, you're probably thinking about buying a house, you're buying a car, you've got a job, you're starting to earn some money. We had the largest group of people in all history